Alright, so I did a really quick basic test of these short CT skills that pals use when everything else is on cooldown, and I found that the cooldowns time, it doesn't actually match very well when pals are fighting on their own. So I did some, in the background here, there are some tests with pals only using their basic attacks, and I found that stuff like Ice Missile seemed to have a pretty long cooldown time, and then like Fire and Ground were pretty equal, like around 4 seconds seems to be something like a minimum. Sometimes Dragon Cannon would be a little bit faster, but that could be due to some other factors. So overall, the test revealed that these CT times aren't totally accurate unless you are mounted. They are perfectly accurate if you're on a mounted pal. So something to consider I found in the data mine is that each skill has these sort of animation times tied to them. That could be something that is factoring in. I'm not sure why the times don't really match the CT they have, because you have like Ice Missile in the code. It calls for something called Energy Shot at one point, which has a 5-second CT. So the reason why Ice Missile is so long, it could be that it's like calling for the wrong skills cooldown, or it's that it just has a very long animation time when it's shooting those 3 missiles. So the factors, like I tried it again with Party Pals, they do have that built-in cooldown thing. So sometimes the pals jumping back is a factor, so you have the minimum range affecting that. Then you have these ice missiles. They're split into 3 shots. Pretty long animation compared to something like Dragon Cannon. So that could be a factor there as well. The damage values did match, so Ice Missile is doing its power divided by 3 on each shot. It didn't get 3 times damage, unfortunately. And then we had the weird one, which is Fire versus Electric. They have the exact same stats on all the cooldown stats I could find, but the Electric skill just had a way longer time between shots. So it might be that these new skills, the Electric and Dark, are starting their cooldown like after the animation or something, because it was just very weird. But overall, these cooldown times don't really matter in regards to these skills because they don't get used a whole lot. I did a full test and they did around like 2 of the basic attacks between each cycle of the big attacks. It starts a little bit worse because they use the big skills first, but then in a party scenario, they almost never use this skill. So this is a non-Serenity, a decently long cooldown build, and it uses one of the dark shots. It's not Dark Cannon, it's a new skill they added, like Gravity Shot or something in the code. So we'll use just like these 1 or 2 basic attacks. The Knockloom with Serenity used absolutely 0, so that's going to be going on in the background here. So what is really important with these skills is probably, since they're just going to be using 1 or 2 attacks as a filler, you probably just want the highest power, or you just want to look at the aggregates. What these aggregates are is if they freeze, electrify, the burn effect, stuff like that. So that could be a bit more useful to look at, because your pal might be using 1 or 2 of these attacks between between their perfect loop of skills. So then it could be nice if they do a little bit of electrify. You could do some combo maybe with grass skills and fire. So the aggregates are probably, it's either aggregate or power that I would consider. And then you can't like choose this skill. Maybe if you could like pick it on pals with 2 elements, like on your German Tide Ignis, you could pick fire or dragon. Maybe that would add something to it. But overall now the choice is really only if you have 2 pals with like identical attack stats and you want to bring them to a raid fight. Like a lot of the Palworld pals do have identical attack stats. If you check out, I put all the combat stats on the website. It should be up to date now for Feybreak with everything. You'll see that a lot of them have the exact same attack like power. So if you're choosing between 2 of those pals, maybe you would consider it just because of the basic skill CT, but usually what people pick is due to the like exclusive skill or the size or something like that. So it's really mostly these aggregates. If you do have to make a choice, look at the power or the aggregate factor. So that's it for this quick CT test. Thanks for watching.